So the focus moves from the Premier League across to the FA Cup as Forest have a chance to get into the quarter-finals. Welcome to the preview for Forest versus Ipswich. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well. And welcome back to another video on the channel. Coming up, we'll talk you through the expected Forest lineup. We'll talk about the injuries, who's fit and who's not, and how I think this game is going to go. If you're enjoying the content, as always, you know the drill. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to FFTV if you are new here. And let's jump into this. So, it's getting towards the business end of the FA Cup. Now, if Forest go through, then quarterfinals, you win that match, as a trip to Wembley in the semis. It's all kind of, maybe I'm getting a little more interested than I was a couple of weeks ago. And against Ipswich, we should really be the favourites for this. Now, in terms of what Forest have in injuries, well, we know Carlos Miguel is out with his hamstring. Outside of that, Nuno hinted there was one other player he was worried about. I don't believe him. I think he has a fully fit squad to pick from. Maybe Willy Bolly at a push. And the question is, should Nuno be rotating now? Now that we're getting towards the business end of it, we haven't got a game until Saturday against Man City. This isn't a midweeker. There's plenty of time for recovery. I think he needs to take it with pretty much the first team, but I do expect to see some rotations, which we'll talk about. If Forest win the FA Cup, let me remind you that that's an automatic ticket into the Europa League. Unless, of course, we finish in the top 4 or 5, as it will be with the coefficient, then that position goes back into the league and not through the FA Cup. But winning it could be something that could happen. Or is it a distraction from what we need to do in the league? What do you guys think? Let me know what's your priority, FA Cup or a Champions League finish. Let me know in the comments. So let's take us over to the team sheet and let me tell you what I think Nuno's going to do for this game. All right, so this was the team that took on Arsenal midweek, and I think there will be a few changes. There has to be. I think the obvious one is that Chris Wood's going to be rested for this one and Taiwo will come in. Maybe that's why we saw Taiwo only getting like 5 minutes towards the end of that last game. I think Einar needs to come out. I think he's out of form, but maybe that's because he's tired. And what I would do, I'd put Nico Williams at right back, and I'd bring Alex Moreno in, excuse me, at left back. I think one of the two centre backs will be rested. I think it'll be Murillo, because Morato can play at that left centre back side. Now, is he going to play in the back four is the question, because every round of the FA Cup so far that we've seen, he's done this 3-back formation where he's brought in like an Alex Moreno and a Tuffalo on that left-hand side. And Tuffalo did okay, but it was against Exeter last time. So I think he goes with this back four. I think both Dominguez and Anderson will be switched out. I think Anderson's playing too many games. He needs to be rested. Now, what I think will happen is he's going to revert back to his starting 2 that he had at the start of the season before injuries happened. Sangare and Danilo. Now, bear in mind, Sangare is Muslim, so he's probably fasting, but he'd have broken his fast before kickoff, so I can't see that being an issue. I wouldn't be surprised to see Danilo and Sangare, or it will be Danilo and Yates. Personally, I would go with a 3, but this is what I think Nuno's going to do. I think Morgan Gibbs-White will definitely play, and then he'll rotate one out of Hudson-Odoi or Elanga. Now, my gut feeling says it'll be Hudson-Odoi that comes out. Whoops, let's just get him off here. It'll be Hudson-Odoi that comes out, and it'll be Sosa that comes in on this left-hand side. Now, we haven't seen either Sosa or Jota Silva for a while. That's why I don't think he takes both of them out. I think he'll keep Elanga there and Sosa on there. Hudson-Odoi save him for Man City. And I think that's pretty much it. The only other way this would spin around for me, I can't see too many other alternatives. Unless he's going to go for that back 3 and bring Tuffalo in, I can't see it. The only other alternative, as I mentioned, would be Hudson-Odoi starts, because Elanga has looked like he's come out of that purple patch again, and if he gets dropped, he could still play Sosa on the right hand side or Jota. I prefer it the other way around. I'd rather save Hudson-Odoi for the Man City game over this one. This team, either way, whatever you do with the wingers, should be strong enough to beat Ipswich. Ipswich are not in a good place right now. Obviously, in the relegation zones, they've got through here by beating a League One team and a Championship team, and Forest are at home. This is under the lights, you know, the old cliche, at the City ground, so it should be a Forest win, and it doesn't need that stronger team to have it. However, having said that, I thought we struggled against them when we played them earlier on this season at the City ground. So I'm not taking this game too lightly. I personally just wouldn't really change what he thinks the strongest team is, but Einar has to be dropped. He has to be dropped, in my opinion. That's the team that's not the team I'm going with. The team I'm going with is the other way around. Rest Callum Hudson-Odoi, put Sosa on, let Elanga play. That's what I'm going with. Do you guys agree with it or not? So how do I see this one playing out? Well, Forest are the home team. The onus is meant to be on us to be the attacking team. I don't know if we will be. We might. I don't know. The differential between us and Ipswich in the league, you know, we're third from top, they're third from bottom, should mean that Forest take the front foot here. I don't know. I honestly, I have no idea how this game is going to play out in terms of the style of the game. Ipswich are without a couple of their players. Hutchinson, who took that knock against Manchester United, won't be available for them. Rory Delap will be, and he's obviously the poster boy for them this season. They do have some other threats, but I don't think they're as strong as they are when we faced them at the City ground. I think they've been a bit deflated. Now, will they look at this FA Cup as a break, as, you know, switch the pressure off? There's no real expectation here. If we lose, it doesn't mean we're relegated kind of thing. Or will they look at this as an opportunity to try and build some momentum? Either way, it doesn't matter. It's how are we going to look at it? We need a win. I've not been happy with the last month's worth of games since Brighton, and Forest need to sharpen up now and try to use the FA Cup to build a winning mentality and a winning momentum going into the Man City game. We need a point out of that one. And then after that, we got Ipswich again, I think, off the top of my head. And then we've got some nice games. Outside of that Villa away game, a lot of teams that we're about to face will be on the beach or will be bottom half teams. So Forest need to go into Man City with a little wind behind their sails. Now, Man City have had 2 extra days rest. Let's not make sure that goes unnoted. They played on Saturday. Will that play on Nuno's mind for this game, knowing that we'll have 5 days rest compared to their 7? Or will he just think one game at a time? And that seems to be his motto. And I think he will. But I do still think there will be some changes. How do I see this one going score-wise? 1-0 Forest. I just don't think we're free scoring at the moment. If we focus on keeping a clean sheet, then we're only going to score 1, max 2 goals. If we try to attack too much and let the game open up, then yeah, we could win it 3-2 or something like that. But I think Nuno will still be determined to keep a clean sheet. So I'm going to go Forest 1, Ipswich 0. And I don't see it being that enjoyable. As a spectacle, that is. I'm really selling it to you guys, aren't I? But I've been wrong before, not many times. So get your score predictions in down below. All right, if you've enjoyed the preview, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new here. We'll see you for the watch along tomorrow night on it. Kickoff's at 7:30, so we'll be live from about 7. Come on, you Reds.